Oh, this is the podcast where we drink with the Mormons, strange and peculiar people they may be. Come hear the stories we were taught in our childhood. Come drink and join our eternal family. Come drink and join our eternal family.
Welcome back to the Drunk Mormon Podcast.
Welcome back, friends.
This is the podcast where we get drunk and talk about people who never get drunk.
The Mormons.
I'm David John Banks, and I was raised Mormon.
I'm Lauren Sacred, and I've never been Mormon.
And we're your hosts.
Hi!
Each week on this podcast, we teach Lauren a little bit more about Mormonism, whether that's stories from the Book of Mormon, stories from Mormon church history, or peculiar things that Mormons believe. But this week, we're going to talk about something that one of our listeners requested a few weeks ago.
Oh, how fun!
I would look up their name and give them credit, except I think it was an Instagram DM, and right now Instagram's being stupid and won't let me refresh our messages. So, wherever you are, thank you.
Thank you for your... Well, I shouldn't thank you yet. I don't know what it is. I hope it's fun.
I don't even know.
Oh, yeah,
I actually don't even know. And so I'm actually already strung along.
Everybody's being strung along. Maybe I could just do this for 45 minutes.
That's the... And then right at the very end, you go, the topic is, and then it cuts off.
That's a good idea.
I love long jokes with very minimal reward.
Yeah, which is, honestly, that's our podcast.
That's our podcast.
Dun, dun, dun.
Bye!
But yeah, today's topic is magic Mormon underwear.
Wait. What?
I would love to tell you all about it, but first we have some business.
Oh, great.
That's called stringing them along.
There's 4 of us in the room today because we brought back a crowd favorite, and by crowd favorite, I don't know if that's true, but I like him.
A crowd of one.
DJB. A room favorite.
A room favorite.
Best one in the...
Friend of the podcast, Jordan Hunter.
Hi.
Hi.
Thank you for
Welcome back.
It's always a pleasure.
So that's our first item of business. Jordan's here.
Yes, thank you for addressing me.
And the second item of business that I am here because I was just in Canada.
You were.
I was in Canada hanging out, but also prepping for, looks like I'm going to be doing a project up there in the next little bit. And this is worth mentioning because I came back today to LA with some Canadian whiskey that I did not have to pay tax on because I bought it in the airport. But also, like, in general, we're back. We just did a couple weeks where we released old episodes that we'd recorded during our big Pioneer Day trip. We had our crossover episode with Mormon Happy Hour.
Yes.
Which was
Super fun.
Riot. All I heard from people was how they felt about the activity and the things they learned. And then this past week we dropped our little live house show episode we recorded in Provo,
which was
where
so fun.
You finally found your Mormon soulmate.
I did find my Mormon soulmate.
So, if you haven't heard those and stopped in on this one because it's called Magic Mormon Underwear and it's where you wanted to start, 1, I applaud your taste. 2, go listen to other ones when you're done here. Also, we're on Patreon. We had a whole bunch of people hop on and pledge as patrons. So
that's so nice.
We'll have to toast them in a second. But we just wanted to remind everybody we have Patreon. You can't search for it because
why not?
Our content, because of the words we sometimes say and the topics we talk about, ours is quote unquote adult.
That's fucked up.
And so you can't search for adult content in Patreon?
I mean, what is Patreon for except for funding adult content? Am I wrong?
I don't know, especially if we're recording it in the San Fernando Valley, which we are.
But you can find us at patreon.com/Drunk Mormon Podcast.
Easy. We also have the link in our Instagram account right now and on our website. So
if you're here for adult entertainment and adult beverages and a slight sprinkling of Mormonism, patreon.com/Drunk Mormon Podcast.
And if you were to go to Patreon and be one of our patrons, you would have access to our special feed, which at this point includes, remember when we did our Sex Myth Balderdash?
Yes.
Well, in the episode we released, we didn't include all the rounds of that game. So if you want to hear more
They
true
are
or false definitions of Mormon sex things. You'll find that there. And then our live episode, we had a ton of audience interaction that we cut out because of time. So if you want to hear everyone swapping stories of Mormon dating in Provo, some of which are wild,
sign in.
Head over to Patreon. All you need is $1. But other than that, just so much talking and long-winded. I think I could use a little refreshment.
You're parched. My throat is so dry. Let me hydrate you with alcohol.
So Lauren, you volunteered to bring the drink this week, and what are we drinking?
We are drinking my favorite drink, a Manhattan.
Oh.
Ooh.
I'm trying to be ooh and an ah.
Oh, I thought you were trying to pretend you knew what that meant.
I thought you were trying to be Tim the Toolman Taylor.
Tim the Toolman Taylor makes it into another episode.
Everyone at home, take a shot.
Yeah.
Okay, so I take my Manhattan seriously. The first thing you want to do if you're making them at home is to chill your glass. You can do this by either putting it in the fridge, in the freezer, or by putting a bunch of ice cubes in it while you make your drink. The second thing that you want to do is put some ice in your shaker, because that's going to chill down the alcohol while you mix it. And a classic Manhattan, you can make it a couple different ways. I personally like to have 2.5 ounces of whiskey and then half an ounce of sweet vermouth. That way it's not too sweet. You can change it up. You can do 2 ounces of whiskey and 1 ounce of sweet vermouth, but like, sweet vermouth isn't gonna get you drunk. It's a nice Canadian pour right there. So Manhattan is kind of like an old-fashioned.
Sure.
Except an old-fashioned uses sugar to be sweet, and a Manhattan uses sweet vermouth.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Look at that color.
Yeah, right?
Amber, beautiful.
So you get it in your shaker, and then you stir it over the ice because you don't want to shake it. And then you're gonna take your maraschino cherries, drop one into your glass, and pour over. And then like a dash of bitters. So that was kind of strong. All right. And that's your classic Manhattan.
Ooh.
What do you think?
Not bad.
Right?
Well, I'm really excited to get drunk off of this.
Yay.
So let's make a quick toast to our recent Patreon subscribers. It's a bit of a list.
Let's do it.
So, this episode, we toast Rebecca, Alexandra and Adam, Noah, Allison, Amanda, Annie, Marika, and Colleen.
To our Patreon subscribers.
Cheers to
you.
Let's get drunk.
Yeah. Mormon Magic Underwear. Say that 5 times fast.
Mormon Magic Underwear. Mormon Magic Underwear.
I can tie a cherry stem in my mouth.
I feel like you've done this on the podcast
I want to see it because I don't believe anyone can do it. I don't
know, but I
understand how that
definitely feel
happens.
like I've seen this before.
Okay.
Was it when we
Or
did
we've been
Okay,
out.
here we go.
witnessing it okay. Testimony that it is a fully straight.
It is a full
Untied
untied cherry stem.
cherry stem. It's about 2 inches long.
What, is that the right music? What's the
No,
right
that's
music
right,
for
that's
this?
correct.
Okay.
You're good. You got it.
But hey, I can do. Wait, he's doing it.
Oh, yeah.
That is actually impressive.
Yeah.
How did you do that? That's like.
You guys, I'm a good kisser. I played trumpet in high school. Can I have another cherry?
Yes, you can, little baby.
Can you pierce a cherry for me? Can you pierce my cherry?
I will pop this cherry.
No, don't pop
Into
it. Just
your-
pierce it.
No, someone else popped it, but you can pierce it.
That is an honor. Thank you.
Yeah, there you go.
I already did it. Here we go.
Just drop it right in that glass.
What were we talking about?
Well,
Is that our montage?
I think that's our drunk montage, so let's get on to the lesson.
We're gonna learn.
So, before we get into it, let me just say,
Yeah.
for the record, that this is a topic that will make active Mormons uncomfortable that we're talking about because they're considered a sacred thing.
The garment.
And so we're going to be talking about them, and we're maybe going to be absent of a little bit of reverence because that's our show.
Okay.
But I'm going to acknowledge the fact that for Mormons, for a lot of active Mormons, this is like a very sacred, personal thing. So disclaimer. We're going to be as respectful as possible, but we're also here to talk about the facts.
And now I'm going off base. Who makes the garments? Mormons, or like are they made in China?
We'll come back.
Great.
Okay, so here's the thing. I invited Jordan here and Ashley is here because I actually don't know much about this lesson.
Okay.
Because I've never worn.
This is a real thing.
This is a real. Okay.
I thought this was like, I knew Mormons have like weird underwear things, but I thought it was like very like conservative underwear. Like I thought it was like granny panties and like a sports bra. I didn't realize it was like.
That's not as conservative as it actually is.
Are you kidding me?
It's more conservative than that.
It's more conservative.
And we're so Mormon underwear connects to things that we're not going to talk about today because they deserve their own episode.
Okay.
So today's episode, we're literally specifically talking about the garment
We're
that
just
you
talking
wear.
about the top level of this.
And that's what you call it. They call it garments or temple garments.
Their full name is the Garments of the Holy Priesthood.
That is correct.
I
But
didn't know that.
everybody has to wear
So
them.
I have
male
like
and female.
I have some Wikipedia knowledge.
Whoa!
I have Wikipedia knowledge, but these two are the ones who are really going to weigh in on
first-hand
everything.
knowledge.
Because I've never worn them. I've barely seen them.
Wait.
Let's walk you down history lane.
Yeah.
So let's just talk about what they are. Okay, so first off, and you guys like jump in if I go astray.
Okay.
They're temple garments. You receive them during something that's called an endowment ceremony,
Okay.
which we'll explain another time. Yes?
Sorry, I just was gonna jump in and do a very brief clarifier if we're gonna get real nitpicky.
Yeah.
So it's actually not.
We're gonna nitpick at our
endowment.
underwear.
It's during your washing and anointing.
That is correct.
Is that not part of the temple
Pre-endowment.
endowment?
It's different.
Oh God.
You're washing and anointing?
So to everyone
Another
who's
kid.
listening at home,
Yes. Lots of things with this one.
anyone who's Mormon who's listening,
You can-
I've never done the
Sprawl.
endowment. I never done washing and anointing, sealing, any of that. I did, we'll say baptisms,
Sure.
and that's the only temple stuff I've ever done.
Baptisms for the dead. Yeah.
Yep, pin and nap.
Oh, sorry. Jeez, Louise.
Um,
Well, so okay, sorry. Just
I've
to
never
recap
seen
what he
one
was just saying.
speechless.
so it's washings and anointing.
Washing. So yeah, you after you've done all of the ceremonies we've talked about before, like baptism and all that, as you're growing up.
Yeah.
There's some adult ones. We'll go into them in detail
Go to
later.
the temple, which we'll talk about later, but one of them is washing and anointing, and that's when you get your
Your
garment.
garment.
So that's
You
when you
get
them.
one pair of garment?
No,
Okay.
you yeah.
Yes, but
I mean, they give
But
you one
they
in
give
the
you one,
thing,
yeah,
I'm
but-
guessing,
oh.
and then you can get more.
yeah.
You go buy
So you
your
can have
Okay,
your
okay,
set.
So you can
Okay.
wear clean
I was like,
underwear
one is
every
like,
day.
That would be rough.
I don't do laundry that much.
Yeah, no, that would be rough.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you get your garment.
And then they're worn day and night, 24/7. You don't take them off unless you are bathing, swimming, or playing sports.
Or depending on the family having sex.
Very true.
Wait,
And
are other families having sex in the garment?
some people
Some people-
believe that you should. Some people are like, that's crazy. I am a that's crazy person, but
So
I
you-
don't even like it when people wear socks.
I feel like just socks is the dorkiest way to have to
it's
be
the
naked.
most dorky way.
Just socks is like, we have a few more minutes. Like, just take them
It's
off.
not even hard to do. Like just a whew,
Yeah.
and then they're gone.
Maybe
I'm-
there's people conscious of foot odor. I don't know.
Oh yeah, odor.
Anyway, so you get them in the temple, but then anytime you go back to the temple to do other types of things, you have to be wearing them, right?
You just have to be wearing them all the time.
Yeah.
It's just expected.
But like, you can't go in the temple if you're not wearing garments.
I don't even know if they would know. It's just
Yeah.
expected. Like
You
it's
just
you
do.
just are wearing
It's not-
them.
But like,
Question.
for what purpose?
So they're in. So the PR answer is they are a daily, constant reminder of the covenants you make with God in the temple. And something that's worth saying is that most religions have religious garb, but Mormons it just happens to be underwear, which is kind of awkward and funny and
It's
weird. Like we're here to go tee-hee about the fact that there's magic underwear, but like at the same time, like I have to acknowledge
but like
religious
our
garments are not normal.
magic. Like when you religious garments and
So
magic
the magic
garments
we'll come back to the magic.
different things.
Very true.
They're a reminder of your temple covenants. They are sacred. They're not for public display, which means you're not going to wear clothes that would expose them to show them to people. People shouldn't see them. There's a quote I have. I don't remember who said this, but they said, quote, "Sacred, unchanged, and unaltered from the very pattern in which God gave them." So like that's how seriously people take garments, is they believe that God was like, here's your sewing pattern.
Except
To
that it
who?
has changed.
It has
We'll get
literally
to that.
changed.
Okay.
God
I'm
gave
like,
them
hold
to
on.
To Joseph Smith.
who? Okay.
And then they are a symbol of protection from the evils of the world, and some people take this more literally than others. I don't know. Like, is there anything more about the purpose of them or the meaning of them that I've forgotten?
Well, I was gonna say though that part of it is like they are considered like representative of when Adam and Eve were in the garden,
Yeah.
and Jesus, like then and then they were naked and they realized they were naked and then they were clothed, like after that. The garments are to symbolize like that's like the same like type of clothing that Adam and Eve wore when they were a symbol of the same clothing that Adam and Eve wore when they were initially given clothing, like by Jesus.
Okay.
So it's like that's what it's reminiscent of.
Okay, that kind of that seems like as kind of extreme as like Orthodox Judaism with the
Yeah.
curls and the hat and the fur.
Yeah. It's like on those
okay, yeah. It's a reminder.
Uh-huh.
Very
Okay.
symbolic.
I need to
Yeah.
see what these look like. I still don't get it.
Even the
So-
church has posted their
I don't
own
get it.
like video that shows the garments.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I don't have Mormon Church approved visuals. I have some other ones that I found.
Okay.
So here's an illustration. Here's an illustration of the temple garments that Joseph Smith introduced to the church.
So these are old.
And apparently this drawing was drawn in 1882, but obviously Joseph Smith was dead long before then. So here's an illustration. This is drawn.
Of the garment.
This is what the original garments were that everybody wore under
All the
their
time.
clothes all the
Okay.
time.
This isn't what they're wearing now.
No.
This is a suit. This is like,
Describe it.
I mean, it's basically like a onesie. It's clothes. It's a full, like, overall onesie.
It's like a romper, like a trendy romper.
But not even a trendy romper. It's like an ugly romper. It's like, it goes all the way, so there's a collar, and then it goes all the way down to the ankles,
Uh-huh.
and then all the way down to the wrists.
Yeah.
He didn't wear this.
He did.
No way.
Yeah.
Under his clothes?
Uh-huh.
No
They all
way. He was having so much sex, there's no way he wore this all the time. There's no way. He had like 43 wives.
I don't know the number, but we'll come back to
Yeah,
that
would have
episode.
been
But,
And this is what men and
and then what else are you seeing?
I don't know, like zip. Oh wait, these are actually things in them?
Yeah.
There are like symbols on them?
Yeah, so there's some symbols there.
This is actually on the clothing and not just like part of the rendering.
Correct.
Oh,
I'm sorry to recorded her thing, but
okay, so there's, I'm trying to like be it, so like I would be like this. So on my right side of my chest there's a backwards L, on the left side of my chest there's a V, and then like down by my right kneecap is just like a horizontal line.
Okay.
Are these like dates? Are they Roman numerals?
No. Here, I'll explain.
Is this real?
This is real.
This isn't even part of the podcast. This is real.
No, I mean, it is part of the podcast. Also, yes, it's real.
Is this what it looks like now?
We'll get to that.
Okay, explain it to me.
Okay. So,
He wore this. He didn't just write about it.
the original version had 4 marks. They were snipped into the cloth, like with scissors, just like little
Okay.
holes.
I didn't know that.
So they
Yeah.
were little holes.
So it, like you said, it's a reverse L on the right breast, a V on the left breast, and horizontal marks over the right knee, as well as the navel, which is hard to tell in that picture.
Okay.
Because in the original version, it was like a onesie, but in the middle, it splits open, so that there's like kind of like an open crotch, so you can pee and shit.
What? This is... I really don't mean to offend anybody. This is so
Because
over the top. This
look
is
again.
insane.
Do you see? Like,
I see the
how
split
it's
up the
open?
crotch, and I kind of see that little dot,
So you
which
could-
I assume
you
would
could
be...
pee in there. So
Because here's the thing, though. Everything up until now, I've been like, I'm for Joseph Smith. Like, he's getting treasure. He's getting all these seer stones. He seems pretty badass. He married that hot bitch, Emma Hale. Everything about him so far has been like, this guy's really cool. And, like, maybe also, like, cheating an entire population of people. This so far, not cool. I went into this being like, I know something about underwear. I really thought it was about modesty. Like, I sincerely thought, like, it was more of a dress code thing than, like, a, like, uniform thing. And this is... No, granted, like, they're kind of in the Victorian era, kind of, right? Like, they're still wearing, like, full skirts and, like, full sleeves. But, like, this is... What are the symbols?
So, remember when we went to that Mormon History Museum and looked at all the prophets? And
Yeah.
John Taylor was one of them?
Yeah.
He was the third.
He came third, we know.
He was the third prophet.
Oh.
In 1883, he explained what some of those things meant.
Okay. But does... I spilled a little on your couch.
It's okay.
Does Joseph Smith explain them in his memoirs?
I don't know.
Okay.
The record that I have is from John Taylor in 1883. He explains a few of the things. He says the square, that's the backwards L. It's called the square. He says that represents, quote, the justice and fairness of our Heavenly Father, that we will receive all the good that is coming to us, or all that we earn, on a square deal, end quote. Lauren's making a perplexed face.
I just, like, that's a great thing to, like, think and believe, but, like, like, why translate that into a pair of, like, weird garments? Like, I don't understand the thinking. Like, I get when you're like, oh, this is what all of this means. Like, it kind of makes sense, but why make it that? Like, you could have written this on, like, a banner and hung it above your house. Like, Jews put that scroll by their door. Like, that makes more sense to me than, like, making an entire population, especially when your population is, like, fucking around. Like, to be like, we should wear these very intolerable garments. They're also, like, farming, aren't they? Like,
It's
they're,
crotchless.
like, working.
There's easy access.
But it's so hot. Like, and then you're wearing your clothes on top of it. Like,
Right,
I
so
just,
these
like,
styles.
what? You wore these?
Oh, yeah. Wear them.
Are you wearing them right now?
I'm not actually, which is really ironic, because I went to the pool earlier.
Did you wear them when I met you?
I am usually wearing them, yeah.
I've worn them around you.
I had no idea. They don't look like that.
Not anymore.
They gotta be slightly less than
We'll
that.
get there.
That's
We'll
like
get
a
there.
three-piece
evolution.
suit.
There's
Okay.
a whole evolution.
Okay.
So that's the backwards L. The V is called the compass,
Which, like the Liahona.
Hey.
which represents, quote, the North Star.
Okay.
I don't know. That one seems like such a cop-out.
It's
and
poetic.
Then there's the collar. Remember you point out the
yeah,
collar?
with the cute little bow tie.
The collar represents, quote, that the yoke is easy, but the burden is light, as far as, like, God's commandments. I don't know. This is what
The
he said.
yoke is easy, but the burden is light.
Yeah, and for those who don't know, a yoke is when you hitch oxen to a cart, the thing around their necks is the yoke. Our producer Ashley is quietly whispering to me that there's more to the compass than this, but we'll come back to that on another episode.
I have so many questions.
The navel mark is one of the horizontal lines is above
Yeah.
your navel, your belly button, which apparently means, quote, strength in the navel and marrow in the bones, end
Okay.
quote, which I think is a scriptural reference. And then the one above the knee, the horizontal line above the knee means, quote, that every knee shall bow and every tongue confess that Jesus is the Christ, end quote. So those are the symbols. Now, as far as I understand, those symbols are still on the garments to this day. Is that correct?
They are, and they are sewn in now.
Yeah. So initially they were snipped in with scissors, so just like cut. But then they embroidered them because obviously that's a little more durable. So now it's like embroidered
So
symbols.
these things at least go to your knee?
So that was the original version, was this onesie thing. In 1923, after quote unquote prayerful consideration, the sleeves could end at the elbow, the legs just below the knee.
Is it connected? Or is it two pieces?
One piece. The buttons, because it was tied with string, the buttons could be used instead of string. They got rid of the collar, and the open crotch was closed. That's
So
fucking.
it's like a romper almost.
That's like almost 100 years.
That's what it is today?
No.
That was like
Okay.
100 years to that point.
In
Okay.
1970s, according to my sources, the first two-piece version of garments was introduced. That wasn't that long ago. And today, I believe you can buy both styles, both one-piece and two-piece. Is that correct, Jordan?
Yes. My roommate and I in college used to do onesie Wednesdays for fun. And every Wednesday, he and I would both we bought one pair each of onesie garments, and we would wear onesies for Wednesday. And it's hilarious. There's like a giant overlapping butt flap, and it will give you the most exquisite wedgies that you've ever had.
Well, that seems to me like I love wearing rompers because I'm a small white woman. But, like, the weirdest part about wearing rompers is when you're drunk in a bathroom at a bar and you have to, like,
Strip.
totally disrobe in order to pee.
The beauty of a butt flap is you don't have to. You just spread them.
How do you pee?
There's also a normal fly for men, and for women, it just goes all the way around the same connected butt flap.
Oh, like
Oh,
a
really?
like a butt and front flap?
Yeah, it just goes...
One flap.
Yeah.
Okay, well, there you go.
So, here's a picture of modern garments. She's turning her face away.
That's not it.
Yeah,
Yes.
That's true.
That's it.
That's it.
That's modern. That's current.
She's covering her mouth.
I don't know how I didn't know you guys were wearing these. Like
They're very, very thin.
they're
Yeah.
thin.
So you can't really tell.
Where's the embroidery? You have sex in these? People have sex in
Some
these?
people do.
Some people do.
When we started this, I kind of thought, like, after I was like, oh, it's not just modesty. I thought it'd be like kind of like a tank top into maybe like kind of Bermuda shorts kind of thing. But that's not what it is. It's like it's kind of Bermuda shorts, like high-waisted Bermuda shorts for both men and women. But like the men is wearing like a full like deep V white shirt,
It's
t-shirt.
more of a scoop neck.
More of a scoop neck, you're right.
And the
But women are wearing like full, like it's got shoulder. Like it's not a tank top. It's not. This doesn't seem like it would be easily hideable.
The colloquial expression for the neck style
Yeah.
is a celestial smile.
That's the joking term.
Because you can
notice.
you can
Like
usually
Mitt
see
Romney.
it.
Look up any picture of Mitt Romney right now,
Mitt Romney
and
wore
you'll
these.
see
Yeah,
his
look them
garment
up.
line.
Yeah, just make a new tab, search for picture of Mitt Romney.
Was Mitt Romney Mormon?
Uh-huh.
He is. He's very active.
Let's do a famous Mormons episode.
actually-
That would be really funny.
Mitt Romney wore garments. I feel bad because he literally just died.
No, he didn't. That you're thinking of John McCain.
Oh, I am.
Mitt Romney.
Mitt Romney is still alive.
So if you see that right there, that's a good picture. So you,
Oh
anytime
my
he's in
fucking
public,
God.
every picture of him in public, you can see is like that's the garment line from that.
True story.
I have a lot of questions.
Okay,
What makes them magical?
so it is taught that garments are there to protect you from I don't know, the sins of the world or whatever. And some people take this real literally.
Very serious.
And there is basically like a genre of Mormon myth that involves garments protecting them from things.
Like stories that
like
people
physically, like
share around.
So let's just talk about some Mormon underwear urban legends. We're gonna roll back the clock, as we love to do, to Elizabeth Warren Allred.
Yeah.
She was the woman who reportedly was the seamstress of the first garments.
She's like the Betsy Ross.
She's the Betsy Ross
She's
of
more Betsy
Mormon
Ross.
underwear.
Oh yeah.
Apparently she had to cut the garment 3 different times until she got it correct. And we have an account, and there will be a link in our show notes on our website about the source of this. Quote, "It was while they were living in Nauvoo," which is in Illinois, "that the prophet came to my mother," this is from the family of Elizabeth, "who was a seamstress by trade, and told her that he had seen the angel Moroni with the garments on.
That I know that's not true.
And asked
Moroni
her,
was only ever wearing bathrobes.
he's wearing bathrobes,
Favorite nip exposed. I know that's incorrect.
and asked her to assist him in cutting out the garments." That's the first recorded mention of garments, was this story about Elizabeth Allred sewing them together and taking 3 tries. Remember who introduced garments to the church?
Joseph Smith.
So, they're supposed to protect you, but what happened to Joseph Smith?
He was murdered. Was he wearing garments?
No.
He
So-
never wore garments. I'm gonna say that right now.
Well, we don't know. We weren't there.
We weren't there. Records at the time not that great. Also, that dude never wore garments. I'm gonna say that right now.
So here's the thing. Apparently, Joseph Smith was wearing garments, but he removed them before he went to Carthage jail, and he told everybody else to do the same. But here's the thing. Remember William Richards, that like random the 4th guy?
The other guy that was in the jail.
He declined. He kept his garments on. And remember who fucking survived?
It was him.
He had only a graze on his fucking ear.
Just him?
Yeah.
I mean, John Taylor also survived,
And he was
but John Taylor was wounded. William Richards had a graze on his ear. That was it.
That's a wound.
He's wearing his garments. Well, there's no garments on your ears. So here's the deal. For the most part, as far as Mormon folklore is concerned, when people talk about their garments protecting them, there are a percentage of people who take it very literally. So you'll hear stories of people who were in a car accident and their clothing was ripped all the way up to the hem of their garments and then it stopped. And you will hear, and I got this from Reddit, quote, "He was chainsawing a tree when the chain hit a knot or something and bounced back, sawing him right in the leg. The saw went right through his work coveralls, jeans, and thermal underwear, but miraculously stopped right at his G's," which means his garments, "and his leg was fine."
Well, okay, so here's the thing. So as you may know, I so badly want to start a cult, but like a fun cult. So like everything I hear about Joseph Smith, who is my homie, I'm like weighing, like, oh, that's super cool. I would do that. I wouldn't do that. I don't, from the point of like, regardless of all the religious sense, from the point of like just a cult leader, I won't even say cult, just a community leader, I don't understand the point of the garments. Like I understand the point of prayer, I understand the point of tithing, I understand the point of sacrifice, like I understand, I don't get this. This seems like a weird thing to like to stand on. This seems like a weird point to make to me.
I think when we talk about future topics similar to this,
Yeah.
where it's gonna make more sense.
Okay.
That's
When we get into
maybe
temple
true.
stuff?
Yeah, that's probably true.
And some other stuff.
Because again, I
New
don't.
question.
There's stuff I personally don't know that is going to be fun for me to discover with you.
I have a new question.
Ask it.
What is my girl Emma Smith and the Community of Christ doing with the garments? Are they
a good
wearing
question.
That's a
garments?
great question that I don't know.
Because
idea.
I saw this bitch of breastfeeding at the seminar that we went to, and I did not see garments.
When are we gonna
So
go
I
again?
don't know if the community of Christ wears garments, but the fundamentalist
Definitely do.
LDS Church,
Yeah.
they wear the original design. And they feel like the LDS, the Latter-day Saint, Brighamite diversion
Yeah.
to make it into two-piece, etc., is wrong. That because some people really believe that the original design of garments was a sewing pattern delivered by God, who's like, hey, here you go, here's the sewing pattern, go to town. So I believe, and we'll have to fact check this one day with an actual fundamentalist LDS church member, I believe they still wear the original design, the full onesie.
That wouldn't surprise me at all.
But yeah, most of the garment mythology is this idea
It's
that
protective.
it will. Some people believe it's physically protective of you. Jordan's raising his hand.
Well, because also, I mean, I don't think this is delving too much into temple stuff, but just to give that rumor context of where that comes from, it is mentioned that if you wear the garment worthily, meaning you're keeping all of your promises and everything, it is said to be a protection for you until your mission on earth is complete. So you can still die in an accident and you can still have whatever, but the intention or the idea that Mormons have, if you are wearing, like if I were to wear my garments worthily and then get in a car accident, then my family would be like, he has fulfilled, like that means that he's filled his mission on this life and he was no longer needed here with us, he's needed in the next life. Because if it were any other thing and he didn't die, it was because of the protection granted by the garment.
So there's all sorts of stories about this.
So there's cropping out of that. There's everybody has like these mythological stories.
That's cool that it is kind of 2 for 1. It's like, hey, it'll protect you, but also it'll give consolence to your family when that doesn't work.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a nice thing.
That's nice.
But here's the thing. This isn't just things that people hear about, and we can't quote direct sources about crazy garments protecting people stories.
Mm-hmm.
The then CEO of Marriott Hotels, a Mormon named Bill Marriott,
Uh-huh.
he was on 60 Minutes.
Uh-huh.
Do you remember that show?
Yeah.
And he talked about his temple garments.
Mm-hmm.
We have a clip here.
What?
Mormons know that some outsiders think they are weird. Why? Well, for one thing, devout Mormons wear sacred undergarments for protection from harm. Cotton undershirts with undershorts that reach to their knees. Do you wear the sacred undergarments?
Yes, I do. And I can tell you they do protect you from harm.
Really?
Uh-huh. I was in a very serious boat accident. Fire. Boat was on fire. I was on fire.
Mm-hmm.
I was burned. My pants were burned right off me. I was not burned above my knee. Where the garment was, I was not burned.
And you believe it was the sacred undergarments?
Yeah, I do. Particularly on my legs, because my pants were gone. And my undergarments were not cinched.
That's funny.
So that was from 60 Minutes. It was aired in 1996.
I'm wondering if people are like so like tee-hee-hee about it because it's like,
I think there is going to be an inherent tee-hee about awkward, unflattering underwear. I think we're probably at the time where we need to pivot to the
favorite
best
part
of any Mormon
of
lesson.
any Mormon lesson, the activity.
We have an activity every episode, and this week our game is called Underwear. As we know, the Mormon Church has special underwear, and also as we know, the Mormon Church has special rules.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you a few questions about the specific rules regarding Mormon underwear, and it's your job to pick from the multiple choice which is the right answer.
Okay.
In 2011, the LDS Church, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, officially came out with a statement clarifying that garments shall be worn while doing what? A. Yard work. B. Swimming. C. Sex.
A. Yard work. I know they're not worn during swimming because they're not. You said that earlier. I don't think the church is going to talk about sex. Boom. But I feel like a lot of Mormons are doing yard work. A lot of Mormons are gardening.
The answer is a yard work.
Listen.
I don't know why they felt like they needed to like weigh in on that, but they did.
But it's important. People were taking them off during yard work, and that is not a sport.
Well, because some people live in like fucking Florida.
It's hot.
And it's hot, and they're
you
like,
gotta sacrifice
I'm gonna
to
mow
your
the
God.
lawn without
You gotta
my shirt on.
sacrifice to your God.
And God's like, you can't mow the lawn without your shirt on. You gotta wear your garments, and because you're wearing your garments, you gotta cover them up. So automatic 2 layers.
Oh, that's rough.
If you're not feeling tortured, you're not worshiping. So, question 2.
Yeah.
Garments are required to be white. But an exception is made if the member of the church is A, celebrating the 4th of July, B, active duty in the military, or C, in a professional dance troupe.
The military.
Military is the correct answer. So here's the funny thing about that.
Yeah.
I remember as a kid hearing this rumor that Mormons had magic underwear. And I was like, what the hell kind of far-reaching bullshit is that? And for years, I thought it was just like a anti-Mormon lie. Because my father was in the military. And he had military garments.
Really?
They make them in military green, military brown, and black. If you're special ops, you can wear black garments. And
That sounds so
my
cool.
father was in the Air Force, and I think he had brown mostly. So I knew my father's underwear drawer because I'd borrow socks from him sometimes, and he just had all these pairs of matching brown underwear. And I thought it was military issue. I didn't know it was Mormon issue.
That's interesting.
So I think I was an adult before I finally learned that garments were a real thing.
But the symbols are silk screened on the inside
Oh,
of the shirt
interesting.
in the proper places.
And our final question. Garments are sacred, so you can't get rid of them willy-nilly. So which of these
Oh my God, they're like batteries.
which of these is not an approved way to get rid of your temple garments? Right? So we're looking for the answer that is not true.
correct. Okay.
A. Cut out and destroy the embroidered markings before throwing the rest of the fabric away in the trash.
Okay.
B. Donate them, if they're in good condition, to another worthy member of the church.
Okay.
Or C. Bury them in a quiet, funeral-like ceremony.
Wow. I feel like A is the most practical. B is the most like kind to your fellow man. And C is the most like, so I'm gonna pick C. You bury them. No way. No fucking way. You bury them?
No, you don't. You don't bury
Oh my
them.
God.
I just wanted to remind people that this is underwear that you can. So you do not bury.
Oh, you don't give them to people because it's underwear.
No, you
and it's
do.
touch your
You
junk.
can't. I believe you can donate them to underprivileged members of your
To underprivileged Mormons.
Yeah, but you do not bury them.
Can you cut them out?
And if you want to throw them away, you do have to cut out the symbols and burn the symbols. Anyway,
That's our lesson.
that's our lesson. That's our activity this week.
What a great this was wonderful.
Yeah, this was the tip of the Mormon temple iceberg that we will slowly start to slide more and more into.
I'm so excited.
This is what I'm excited about. We're gonna get into the good stuff.
The
this
stuff
was
that I don't
a
even
lot.
know. And most of this I didn't know. I had to do my homework. Anyway, thank you, Lauren,
No.
for joining me today on our episode.
Thank you.
Thank
for
you.
a beautiful episode.
Thank you, Jordan, for being our guest. Thank you,
Thanks, Jordan.
Ashley, for steering us
Always.
sober.
Thank you.
And of course, thank our listeners for joining us once again.
We appreciate you. But
And a
also
special
more than
thanks-
you, we appreciate our Patreon.
Our Patreon subscribers, our Patreon patrons.
Yeah.
If you want to join that privileged group, patreon.com/Drunk Mormon Podcast. If you have questions or if we got something wrong, very probable, email us at drunkmormonpodcast@gmail.com or slide into our DMs on Twitter and Instagram at drunkmormonpod. But in the meantime, feel free to drop into iTunes, give us a review.
Mm-hmm.
We got some new ones recently. We'll
Read them
We'll
the
read
next
some
episode.
soon. The next one we record. Please be a good missionary and spread the word. Share a podcast with a friend or neighbor. But until next week, I'm David John Banks.
I'm Lauren Sackwich.
And I'm Jordan Hunter.
And now we bid unto all
farewell. In the name of Joseph Smith's magical dip flap, amen.